Hi, I just tried to film this and then I went off topic way too many times, so I'm taking a second shot at it. I did a poll. And the poll asked, hey, which would you rather see? First, I'm gonna do both, but would you rather see me use the Chucky Glam Light palette to make myself look like Chucky to add the scarring and stuff onto my face, because I felt like Glamlight really missed the mark in the marketing when they didn't do that. I don't understand people collabing with horror based franchises and then doing all glam looks. Do something a little bit gruesome at least. And I did practice making fake scars and stuff, and it looked pretty good. Or would you rather see me do a rant about diet culture and the pedestal of skinniness and plastic surgery as trendiness? And that one won. So we're not doing the scars today, which is fine by me because my skin needs a little TLC anyway, and I would need to put on foundation in order to get the doll kind of look. I don't want to do that to my skin right now. It's still recovering from the second to last video where I did the 2016 style makeup. As I said, I tried to film this earlier, well, actually immediately before this, and I got off topic too many times. So, we are going to be talking and ranting. I'm going to be ranting about how much I hate diet culture, the pedestal of skinniness, putting it on a pedestal, and some recent trends that are plastic surgery based. I don't see skinny people talk about this a lot. I don't. And I understand why they don't. They're not personally affected by things like fat phobia and this more and more skewed perception of what chubby and fat and plus size actually is, because it's getting more and more skewed. It really bothers me, though. I am not personally affected by it, but I have family who is. And I have friends who are. And also, it's generally bad for the population. So what we're going to talk about first real quick is diet culture. I don't like diet culture. I have problems with under-eating. I won't go into detail because I don't want to trigger anyone who may potentially have similar issues, but I do have issues with it. I don't purposefully do it. I don't wish I was skinnier. I actually wish that I had more weight, and I have gained some weight recently, and I'm very proud of that. I still have problems with it for other unrelated reasons to body image. When I see people who are my size, the first thing I think is, do they have the same problem? And when I see people skinnier than me, the first thing I think is, are they okay? Are they going through something? So, just to put that out there, that's my perspective on this sort of thing. I'd like to show real quick what my body type is as a reference point for what we're going to be continuing to talk about when I say, people who look like me. Okay? So, here's my body type. Alright? I am generally, when it comes to bottoms, I'm usually a size 4. However, I have worn a size 2 before and it fit, though it did have elastic in the band. I don't know if I've ever worn a size 0. Generally, I'm a size 4. In t-shirts, I am generally a size extra small. Pretty much all the time, I am an extra small. Smalls tend to be, in most brands, a little baggy on me. I chose specifically a crop top and little short, tight shorts today because I'm doing this video and I had this in mind, and I wanted specifically to show off like what is going on so that we have a reference point as I continue talking about these things throughout the video. So here, I'll relax my stomach. That's a pooch. All right, that's the kind of stomach pooch we're working with after I eat. Let me try to straighten my posture a little. All right, I just ate a little bit ago. That's the body type that I'm going to be using as a reference point when I use myself as a reference point, okay? So that is level of skinniness is already when I start to worry about other people's health and I start to worry that they might have a problem going on. Skinnier than that is when I get super, super concerned. And again, I would like to gain some weight. I did recently, and I feel very good about it because previously I was so skinny that it hurt people to hug me sometimes because my bones would jab them so bad. And again, that's not because I wanted to be that skinny. That's just because various things, genetics, all kinds of stuff. It's not... I have a body type that a lot of diet trends and diet pushers and such try to sell to people as healthy. This is what you will look like when you are healthy, because currently the idea of wellness and health have been kind of, I want to say co-opted, but there's another part of me that's like, it's kind of always been this way. The idea of health and wellness at the moment tends to be very commercialized and commoditized. I don't know if I pronounced that right. We have a boy who wanted to say hi. He wanted to say hi. Would you like to walk around on my desk? You can this time. Yeah, he does. Yeah, you can this time, buddy. Got little earwax in your ear? Silly boy. Silly, silly boy. Okay, where was I? Wellness and health have been largely commoditized and corporatized and commodified. The 3 C's. And a lot of people who are in that industry are trying to sell people on things, and a lot of times it's dietary supplements, dietary regimens, things like that. And then people who adhere to these become influencers who influence people to do the same because that's what they believe in. And they usually get some kind of profit out of it as well. And then it's just perpetuated over and over and over. I gave you a reference for my body type. I have seen people who say that people who look basically exactly like me are overweight or chubby. I've seen people like me described like that, which baffles me because I have been worried all my life that I am underweight, and I have felt all my life like I am too skinny. And it's really weird to see people on social media telling me, no, you're too fat. I am not healthy for like not as in like in general, but as in like I'm not skinny because I'm super healthy. I'm skinny because of a genetic thing, because of happenstance of my metabolism, because I usually accidentally only eat 1 meal a day, not on purpose, just because it just happens that way. And I get really, really angry about people who push these diet cultures on other people, trying to tell people they need to look like me or skinnier to be happy. That is not true. That is not true. there are a lot of different factors that go into body weight and fat distribution and things like that, because sometimes it does just boil down to the way fat is distributed throughout your body. For example, people who have ancestors who were in some sort of famine situation, their bodies will store fat differently and store fat more than people whose ancestors didn't have that, typically. That's a proven scientific fact. DNA passes on things to help the next generation survive better. So if somebody was in a situation where their great-grandparents or their grandparents or even their parents did not have access to the amount of food that they needed, then that child will likely have a body that will store fat as though they are in a famine situation actively, even if they are not and they are eating properly. So they can be eating just greens and vegetables and low calorie, no carb, no sugar for their whole life, but they will still be like plus size. That's fine. Why is that something to shame people about? Personal health is not about all looking one way. Personal health is about your personal health. And even if someone isn't healthy and they're overweight, hey, let's not shame them, because that's been proven not to work either. People who are shamed for their health issues, it's been proven, it just makes things worse. Also, their health issues can be unrelated to their weight. Or their weight could be a symptom of the health issues that they're facing. And again, something they can't control. None of these are things that make anyone worthless, like these diet companies like to imply. And it's generally not going to make you happier. I'm talking specifically to like young people now. Hey, I am skinny. I am size 4 in most things, extra small, okay? Listen to me right now. It's not this magic fix for all of your problems. It's not. A lot of companies and influencers especially, wellness influencers really get me sometimes with the things that they say and claim. Wellness influencers really get me heated. I do not have a TikTok, but I do have an Instagram, and I do have a YouTube. And Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts are pretty much all just TikTok re-uploads. Ignore that, that's my dryer. By the way, my hand shakes a little better. As you can see, it's like doing it occasionally, but if I move things around and if I hold things certain ways, it'll stop doing that as much. Like if I'm doing this, like if I try to do a tighter grip, it starts shaking again, but if I just hold it like to this very specific kind of grip in this specific kind of way, it'll stop my hand shaking. So I think that's a little bit better. But it's still doing the shakes. Anyways, I really don't know how to properly articulate that, like, without just outright saying skinny isn't everything, okay? That's basically what I'm trying to get at here. Skinny isn't everything. You can be healthy without being super skinny. You can be unhealthy while being super skinny. More often than not, I assume people who are super skinny are unhealthy and that they need help. I'll be honest. Maybe that's because of me thinking that I am too skinny for most of my life and wishing that I could gain a little bit of weight. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but I know that I personally have a lot of issues with fatigue because I often don't eat enough. It makes me really fatigued. I know that I have trouble interpreting signals from my body because of these disordered eating habits. I know that part of the reason I'm this skinny is because I almost died. I had appendicitis when I was 11, and I lost all of the baby fat in my face and in my body way too early. And I got super skinny and my stomach shrunk a bunch, and I honestly wouldn't say that I ever fully recovered from that and that I ever fully got my stomach back to a not shrunken size. Like for a couple of weeks, I was pretty out of it for most of it. Obviously, I was literally dying. Like, it was an emergency surgery. I was literally dying. I couldn't keep even a sip of water down. It made me throw up. So my stomach shrank significantly, and I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure that I ever got it back up to a proper size. Last time I weighed myself, I was like 120 pounds, and I'm like 5'9" plus a little change. I don't think that that's healthy, and I've been trying to gain some more weight. I've never had a doctor mention that to me, which always surprised me, because as a child, I was very bony, and I was like, my doctor, when I came back from that surgery, I was in another state when it happened. When I came back, my doctor didn't even be like, "Oh, you lost a lot of weight really suddenly. Are you okay? Do you want to talk about what happened? Do you want to talk about a way to make your stomach not super tiny anymore?" No. It was just never mentioned. And I don't think that that's right, because there's a lot of fat phobia in the medical industry as well. This is something that's well known. Fat phobia in the medical industry is a whole other topic that I did get into it in my last version of the video. It took up so much time, and I got really, really angry about it. I don't want to do that again, because I didn't enjoy that rant. That wasn't a cathartic rant like the rest of this is. That was just I got myself so angry, I had to cool down. So we're not going to talk about that in this one. Maybe we'll talk about it another day. I've never faced fat phobia in the medical industry personally, but I do have friends and family who have, and it deeply, deeply upsets me. And that's another thing. That's why I think more skinny people should talk about this kind of thing. Why is it always people who are mistreated having to advocate for themselves? That really frustrates me. You see allies in a lot of other things, right? Like, there are people who are not a part of marginalized communities or people who have been mistreated who will advocate for other people. I don't see that very often with skinny people and fat people. And as we've gone over, fatness can be determined by genetics. So I do consider it to be something people can have no control over, and I do consider it to be, it's not one of those things that you can just like change about yourself necessarily. Like, there are people who, no matter what they try, are the same weight or will gain weight. It's really, really weird to me that I don't see like allyship for that. And it makes me really upset. So that's the rant about diet culture and wellness and everything. Wellness influencers are trying to sell you on diet culture. Diet culture is trying to sell you on paid for regimens and subscription services to paid for regimens and books on how to diet and all that kind of stuff. It's all commercialism. It's all capitalism. It's not for your benefit. It's for the sake of making money. Personal health is a very personal thing, and it looks different for everybody. For some people, it may look like being my size. For some people, it may look like being my size, but with a lot more muscle. Again, I don't work out. I don't exercise. I should do so to have a healthier lifestyle, because my lifestyle is not overly healthy. Healthiness may look for some people, the average woman in America is a size 14 to a size 18, within that range of sizes. For some people, that's what personally healthy looks like, you know? For some people, it may look even bigger for personal health. I'm not saying that people can't have, like, issues with obesity, but I am saying that the obesity itself is usually a symptom of something else, and that if somebody has, like, issues with overeating and things like that, it's usually a symptom of a larger issue, and that needs to be addressed in order to help them. And you can't help somebody just by telling them to eat less or exercise more. Anyways, on to the other thing. Plastic surgery is trends. So I'm going to mention this briefly because this is something that got me yelling in the other version of this video. The other version ended up being an hour long. I did not want this one to end up being an hour long. Heroin chic. I hate that for a number of reasons. Now, apparently this was a thing in the 90s, and it's coming back now, just like thin eyebrows. Heroin chic. First of all, that boils my blood because of the audacity. Oh yeah, having an addiction to a highly addictive drug that ruins people's lives and gets them thrown in jail. And by the way, people who are addicted to drugs should not be thrown in jail just for being, they need help? Like, are you kidding me? Hey, I understand trying to find and stop people who are pushing drugs to others. Addicts are not criminals. Addicts are not criminals for having an addiction. They may commit criminal acts. Again, it's the same as, like, people who have issues with overeating and undereating. There is an underlying symptom there that needs to be addressed before you can handle the first thing. But this video is not about that, okay? Just have compassion for people who struggle with addiction is essentially what I'm saying there. And that's why the phrase heroin chic really boils my blood. I hate that phrase so much. That's not cute. That's not cool. What are you talking about? This ruins people's lives. You realize this ruins people's lives, right? And that people who actually are addicted to heroin and have this sickly look about them is because they are unhealthy and potentially dying because of this addiction to this substance. You can't just turn that into a beauty trend that's disgusting. But I digress. Again, gets me very heated. Okay. Anyways, no, I need a second. I got myself really, really angry. I smile like this when I'm angry. And I laugh when I'm angry. I'm one of those people. Sometimes I scream and yell and scowl and stuff, more often than not, but sometimes there's this specific type of rage that just gets me like... And that's what I'm feeling right now. So I'll be back. I'll be back in a bit. I'm back. I snuggled little man for a minute. His sweet little kitty face and his soft little fur and snuggling up to him helped me to be less absolutely enraged. Plastic surgery as trends. Okay. Plastic surgery is a long-term modification to the body. We are all aware of this. I assume most of the people watching this are adults. So, we're all kind of aware of that. It's gotten to the point where there are plastic surgery trends, which really upsets me. I am not anti-plastic surgery. There are a lot of reasons that plastic surgery is useful and people just can enjoy it. Plastic surgery helps with facial reconstruction after someone has been in an accident. Plastic surgery can help people open up airways and breathe easier. Plastic surgery is used by transgender people a lot of times in order to feel more comfortable in their bodies and relieve dysphoria. And plastic surgery is used by people who are not transitioning to relieve dysmorphia, because dysphoria and dysmorphia are two different things. And I have no problem with that. I do have a problem with the plastic surgery industry pushing for trends, ignoring the well-being and long-term effects it will have on people it is encouraging to receive these procedures. This happens in any industry, okay? I'm well aware that with my obsession with makeup, I am buying into a beauty industry that pushes unrealistic expectations on people and products that lie about what they do, and false advertising and encouragement of capitalism and all this kind of stuff. I'm well aware of that. Plastic surgery hits different than that to me. And I don't mean like, yeah, it hits different. I mean like it literally feels like a different punch is what I mean. Because the way that the makeup industry does it, it's like it's attacking you, right? Like, oh, you need to buy this contour product. Ooh, you need to buy this primer so that your face looks poreless. You need to buy this foundation. You need to buy this. You need to buy that. It is an attack. So that's what I mean when I say that they hit differently. I mean, literally, the attacks are of different severities. That is the literal way that I mean that. Because with makeup, it's you buy a product, you regret buying it. You have wasted money. You have potentially wasted a lot of money. Some of these products get crazy expensive. There are foundations that are $100 or more. If you are deep into influencer type cultures and stuff, you might even be spending thousands a year on makeup that you never actually use. Hi. I have a problem with that. Plastic surgery is a different matter entirely because that is permanent. And turning it into something that is a trend, the same way contour styles can be trends and blush styles can be trends and eyeshadow styles can be trends, which is what is happening, is incredibly unethical, highly morally deplorable, and I think should be illegal. Especially on platforms where they are very obviously trying to target young people. People who maybe are just old enough to get plastic surgery without parental consent. You know? Excuse the yawn. I woke up at 2 by accident. I have stayed awake since then. It is midday. I am sleepy. Plastic surgery trends. First off, plastic surgeons going viral. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think that's ethical. Plastic surgery trends. I know I just keep repeating that, but I just genuinely can't believe that this is a thing. But it is. It is. There are plastic surgeons and plastic surgery businesses that are treating these long-term, sometimes fully permanent face and body full-on modifications. You need to be put under anesthesia for these. I'm not just talking about like fillers. I'm talking the kind of plastic surgery where they cut you open, because that's the current one, buccal fat removal. It looks like it should be pronounced buccal, it's pronounced buccal, which is popping open your jaw, not like popping open, but like, you know, keeping your mouth open, putting you under anesthesia, having your mouth open with clamps, slicing the inside of the cheek wall, and removing the buccal fat in the hollow of the cheeks. And this is why I mentioned the heroin chic thing before, because apparently that's the term for how sunken the cheeks get. Like, they get even more hollow than that. That's what we're talking about right now. And it's trendy. There are influencers and celebrities and actual plastic surgeons who stand to make money off of this. Let's keep that in mind. Encouraging people to get, you can't have it, you can't reverse it, because they are cutting out and removing a piece of meat from your cheek. That doesn't grow back. That's not something you can get back. When this trend of heroin chic runs out, you will be stuck with that decision. It's not like a filler. Most fillers are permanent and they will migrate throughout the face, and that's why you get people who get like cheek filler up here and then the hollow of their cheek becomes like very large, right? Or you get people who get lip filler and then they have like gatherings around here. Filler migrates because of gravity and movement in muscles. But there are some kinds of filler where you can go in and you can have it dissolved, that you can, like, there are certain like natural fillers that will dissolve in the body on their own. There are fillers that you can have chemically dissolved in your face, things like that. This is not the same. This is slicing open your cheek and I don't know what it actually looks like, because I'm not looking up a video of buccal fat removal to see what it looks like when they remove the piece of meat. I am imagining it looks like they just pulled a little chicken cutlet out of your cheek. Again, not saying that is what it looks like. I think that would mean defamation, but that's what I imagine, which terrifies me. But I do know they slice open the cheek and they remove it, and then your cheek is just super hollow, and you get that, I'm not going to say it again, but that look. First of all, that plays into the, I don't know the exact right word. I do know the exact right word for it. I don't want to say it because I have family members who watch this channel and I don't want them to have to hear me say that word. It's not something that can be a trend, because it is long-term. These companies and these influencers are encouraging people to get plastic surgery with momentary reward in mind, and discouraging people from thinking about if they will want it in the future. Maybe not directly, because that, again, that would be defamation. I'm not saying they're directly saying that. I haven't seen anyone saying you shouldn't think about, but in being like, yeah, this is the look right now. This is really in right now, so I decided to get it. It's indirectly, probably unintentionally, encouraging people to not think about what they want to look like in the future, because this is a permanent one. You can't undo it. Will you still want that look in the future? When the trends change and suddenly full cheeks are in fashion, right? Like a baby face, right? Like a rounded baby face. It doesn't seem that far-fetched that that would be in fashion, especially since, you know, more and more influences from other cultures are beginning to make their way into a lot of American beauty standards, right? So rounder faces with less prominent cheekbones might become the trend. Will you still be happy that you made this permanently face-altering decision then? The answer for a lot of people is going to be no. For some people it'll be yes, for some people it'll be no. And it is terrible that people are not stressing how this is not a decision to take lightly. It's not even like a tattoo kind of permanent body modification. Because at least with a tattoo, there are options to get rid of it, or you can go over it with a different design if you decide you don't like it. Or you can cover it up with a t-shirt or pants or whatever. Makeup, even. This is something that you cannot ever cover up. This is something that you cannot go back on. This is something that you cannot do unless you are 100% sure you will never regret it, because there is nothing, once it is done, it is done. There is nothing you can do about it from then on. That will be your face forever. You will permanently have... Hi, my phone overheated in the middle of that rant, and so that's why I have makeup on now all of a sudden, because my brother and I watched some videos together while it cooled down and it charged, and anyway, now I have makeup on. I was playing with this. Yeah. Anyways, so, as I was saying at the end of the last clip, for you it's just been like, it hasn't been any time at all. For me, it's been like an hour. But I watched the last clip and I was basically in the middle of saying like that you're stuck with that. If you get the buccal fat removal, your cheeks are like that forever and you can do nothing to change it. So if you decide that you do not like that look anymore for whatever reason, or if the trends change and you want to follow it, you can undo that. I kind of feel like that was enough of the rant. I was going to include some rant about, like, Markiplier, and I love him, but oh my god, when he talks about dieting and all of that, and the different diets he goes on, and, like, calorie counting that he does and stuff, I get so upset. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I might do a different video talking about that kind of thing someday, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Yeah, because anyways, so I guess that's the rant over. It's done. We're done. Maybe I'll talk about that more again another day, but for now, we're done. All right. I hope you enjoyed.